Hello and welcome to another edition of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem, a show where we answer your most pressing questions about the most recent episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved, which was spontaneous human combustion. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that episode, then come back here and watch this. All the questions we're answering today came from you guys via our Instagram and Twitter accounts, which you can see right here.
Whoa, spooky ghost.
No, a spooky ghost, that's all you got?
Well, what else do you?
I don't know, you have other goons you have in your little troop.
Okay, I want an exploding old lady then.
What an exploding...
I want an exploding old lady.
You gonna hold her in your hand? Is that...
Yeah. Oh.
We're gonna do it like one of those things they do at theme parks. Look at your hand.
Hope she's okay.
Oh, shit! Oh, God. Oh, that was stupid. This one comes from YouTube, from Michaela Danae. And she says, maybe she overdosed on the pills, had one last cig on her way out, died, dropped it, and then caught on fire.
I don't even smoke, but I would love to have one last cig before I go.
Cig.
Yeah.
I think this is plausible. I do think the room being the way it was kind of hurts this theory. I also think the remnants of her skull and the leg being left there, there's a lot of weird things that hurt this theory of it just being her dropping a cigarette and overdosing on the pills.
Can't get over that little tiny skull. Just cracks me up. From Instagram, Elizabeth Manganel. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced. Noticed one of the other victims also had unburned legs. Do you think the lower half of the body not burning has any kind of significance?
Most of the lower half of the body is what, muscle and bone?
Two big blood sausages with just...
Yeah, with muscle, depending on whether or not you skip leg day. A lot of the things that would trigger this kind of combustion or this igniting come from like the internal organs. So it would make sense to me that maybe parts of the bottom would be, you know, unscathed.
Yeah, because this is like a little gas chamber right here, right? It's like a little hot pot.
No, it's not a little hot pot.
Little hot pot.
I'm saying it's possible that it is a hot pot.
It's a little hot pot.
Okay.
Whereas everything below the waist, that's not going to burn too well.
No, it's not going to burn.
Yeah, all right. I guess we've cracked it. This is from Which Abbey, though? In all the theories, you never mentioned what could explain the shrinking head. When you described it as the size of a teacup, I guess I just thought in my mind like a big teacup. Are you saying it was like that big?
If it's a teacup, that is like this big.
The skull's not gonna shrink to that big. That doesn't make any sense.
That's exactly why this is weird.
This is a weird case.
Oh my God.
This is just sinking in.
Look who finally woke up.
What are we doing here?
So that's why this one is so odd, because none of the theories do seem to explain that, except...
Aliens? Is that where we're landing on this one?
This comes from It's Just Jackie. Ryan and Shane, do you think it was aliens? Or do you happen to have any other theories that you think could have happened to her?
No, Jackie.
Think about it this way.
Huh?
You know, we have rats, like lab rats.
Oh, we got rats, yeah.
What if we're just rats to these aliens, and they were gonna go, oh, let's go test out the new shrinkware. We gotta...
What if this is a simulation?
What if we're in a simulation right now?
Yeah.
Well, my point is, it's highly possible that maybe we're just rats to another species. And like, if you look at all the spontaneous human combustion cases, a lot of them are elderly people. So what if, like, up top, they're like, oh, this person's about to go.
Yeah.
Might as well test out the new high-grade shrink ray that is gonna shrink her into a little titty,
A little titty?
I said a little titty, I meant like a little tiny person.
Okay.
It's gonna shrink her into a little titty. Yeah, what if they're like, oh, let's test out the new shrink ray. Let's make this little lady into a little action figure.
Fuck it.
Shrink. Oh shit! She didn't shrink the full. Oh my God!
Her head shrunk, but then she exploded.
By the way, this also comes from It's Just Jackie on Instagram. Just kidding on the aliens question. I just wanted to see Shane's reaction.
Jackie, what's the matter with you? Oh, here comes one from Twitter, Koliak Explorer. Don't know what that means. When it came to not being able to sit still when she burned alive, didn't you say she had 2 lots of sedatives? You briefly mentioned it.
The point they're making is sedatives, you know, put people under for surgery so that when someone's cutting your fucking, you know, chest cavity open, that you don't wake up and go, oh, look at that, there's my heart.
Yowza!
You turn into Al Pacino.
My guts!
Whoa! My heart! That's a big old beating heart! If you remember in the video, I mentioned somebody named Jean Safin from London, that her father saw her combust out of the corner of his eye.
Good Lord!
She was sitting in a chair, and according to his account, she was not moving while she was on fire.
What did he do?
Well, I
Didn't put a wet towel on her or anything?
I mean, that's proof that maybe it wasn't the sedatives that made her sit still while she was cremated.
Right.
There was another case where conceivably somebody sat still while they were cremated without the aid of sedatives. Also, another thing of why people sit still when they're being cremated is because they're probably dead within the span of a second because of spontaneous human
Yeah, it probably
combustion.
happens quick. If you're to the point where you're shooting flames from your mouth, those flames are coming from inside.
Like if your internal organs are now soup,
Yeah.
I think, stop, drop, and roll is out of play.
This from Twitter from John Ibora. What if her son, with all his skills as a doctor, killed his mom, burned her somewhere, and staged the crime scene? Plausible? Hashtag rhinosaurs.
Why is that attributed to me? The thing about this one is, every time there's a theory that you think, oh, this makes a little bit of sense, you just go straight back to that little skull, that little bitty skull, and you're just like, that doesn't check out.
Ah, maybe he did it to throw him off. He was like, I got that leftover baby skull down at the hospital. I guess I'll throw that in.
I'm sure they tested to see if it was her. I can't imagine what he would gain from murdering his own mom. He's also freedom. As a doctor, you would think he would embark in some kind of risk mitigation. He would think, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this because 1, it's not her skull. 2, I'm gonna have to stage this elaborate fire scene.
Yeah.
3, I could just go take her to a retirement home and pay that off. I'm a doctor. I don't need to fucking set my mom on fire.
I guess in cases like this, when there's a lot of strange evidence that doesn't really point to anything, I'm perfectly okay with this being unsolved.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Are you just wanting this to be over?
Well, I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this eventually. Hey, what are we doing next week, Ryan?
Holy shit.
What's our next episode?
Next week, we're gonna investigate a town that you guys have told us to investigate for a long time.
We had a great time hanging around in this town.
Oh my God. That does it for this episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved Postmortem. Watch the new episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved this Friday, and if you have any questions about that one, send it in to our Twitter and Instagram accounts here. Are we doing another lady exploding? I don't want to do that. Can we just do a UFO flying over then? Oh my God. Now we're gonna react to it to you. I don't know why I bought into your little game. This isn't gonna be a recurring thing. I think this may be the last time I do this because I don't want to animate
Sure it will. Sure it will. If you want Ryan to do more of these funny graphics,
God.
just sound off in the comments.
You realize I'm editing this, right? I could just edit out what you just said.
No way.
No way.